Ba-dum. Okay, someone tell me if this is okay. Hey.
This is the English soundtrack from the Guiana Space Center in
This is the woman that won't shut up. Oh no, not this again. Wait. I'll turn this off. Somebody tell me if the sound is working. No.
And liftoff of the Soyuz 26 spacecraft that is taking Don Pettit, Oleg Kononenko, and Andrei Kaitlers to the International Space Station.
Hold up. This is not working. What the hell?
And
audio.
Don Pettit, Oleg Kononenko, and Andrei Kuipers to the International Space Station.
Ah, now it is working. Sorry. Whoops. I messed up. Hi everybody. Okay, I timed something. I mistimed something, but then I had to start my intro again, like my channel trailer. But yeah, it was actually pretty good timing. So yeah, how's everybody? We have a lag in my webcam. Hold up. Let me see. If I can fix this. No, it's still okay. So turn down resolution a tiny bit. No, it's still there. Well, doesn't matter. Turn it back up then. Well, hi, how's everybody? Let's see. Let's get everybody in there. Let's Discord now. We have a launch. Yeah, less exciting than, well, no, I don't think it's less exciting than the other launches today, because we'll have we'll have 3 launches within 24 hours. Like, we'll have this one, the Ariane 5. We'll have the SpaceX Falcon 9 in a few hours. This will lift off in approximately 30 minutes, hopefully. And then it's still it's 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30. So 3.5 hours later, we'll have the Falcon 9. And then tomorrow morning for me, late night for the US, is the Atlas 5 launch. Yeah, Atlas 5. And then that's the last one. I saw something creep up, which was another Russian launch. But there's no webcast of that anyway, so yeah. Let's go. Let's hope the Arianespace let's hope the Arianespace podcast gets up pretty soon. And I hope the okay. I hope the rocket doesn't get too late because we have a launch window of 45 minutes, I believe. Let me check that. If you're wondering what I'm doing on my phone, I'm looking up the press kit to check the launch window. And it is between 9:30 p.m. and 11:51 p.m. Paris time, so that's also my time zone. So that is 2 hours and 20 minutes. 2 hours and 21 minutes launch window, so hopefully it lifts up. And then, yeah. Let me see if it is actually working. Hi. Oh, hi, sorry. I'm just waiting for some people to get in here. I was wondering if it even was working, but everything shows it's working, so it should work. Go away. Keep it on. Yeah. So we have 2 satellites today, and yeah, okay. This gets me triggered. There were a few people that, because Ariane 6 is gonna launch CubeSats directly into GTO, or small satellites, which is kind of cool, because I believe they can launch 4.5 tons directly into GTO, directly into GEO, so, or near GEO. It will probably be in a graveyard orbit anyway. But yeah, that was pretty cool, because then if you have smaller satellites, you can launch more, or do something cool with miniaturized equipment. But there was somebody on that tweet that he responded with it's all too expensive. Well, anyway, for the Ariane 5, the lower passenger, it doesn't matter for them if they, well, it does matter. They would rather launch on an Ariane 5 than on a SpaceX Falcon 9, because, to be fair, customers don't really care about the reusability. The reusability it's great. It allows for lower prices, but there are no dual launches on well, there were dual launches on the Falcon 9, but that was because the satellites were built for that. If you launch on the Ariane 5, you don't have to build a satellite that is actually capable of having another satellite on top of it to launch dual payloads. But the main thing is that it still costs $60 million for the Ariane 5. For the SpaceX Falcon 9, it might be reduced to 40, but I don't know for sure. I think it is still 60, but then that's the same price as the lower passenger of the Ariane 5. The upper passenger pays $90 million, but they would have to launch, because most of these satellites are 6 tons or more that are in the upper seat, and then in the lower seat you have the satellites that weigh 4 or 5, 3 well, 2.5 to 4 tons that are mostly the lower passengers. So those satellites only pay 60 million, and then the upper passenger pays 90 million. So you get to 150 million, which is an Ariane 5 launch cost, which already reduces the prices for both the passengers. The only thing is that if one of your passengers has an issue, it significantly delays your launch. But the point is that on the Ariane 6, actually the price of the heaviest Ariane 6, so the Ariane 6 with 4 boosters, is 75 million. No, it was 90 million. And then if you go into, and it can also launch 2 satellites. It has a slightly bigger capacity to GTO, so same launches on the Ariane 6. And then if you account for that the 2/3 of the launch cost will be for the upper passenger, and then 1/3 of the launch cost will be for the lower passenger. And then 90 million divided by 3 is 60 million for the upper passenger and 30 million for the lower passenger. I don't know if these are going to be prices that are correct in a few years, but that's what I've got. So that would mean that if you're a lower passenger, if you have a satellite that weighs between 2 and 4.5 tons, it's actually cheaper to launch on a Ariane 6 than to launch on a Falcon 9. And adding to that, if you launch from the Kourou, you will actually have a longer lifespan or have a satellite that reaches its orbit shorter, so it will have less in orbit. So it will have more in orbit time, so it will have spent less maneuvering around and getting it to its slot, because it doesn't have to maneuver those 24 degrees that you would have with a Falcon launch. So that's the main competing thing that Arianespace has, so it doesn't really need the reusability. They're working on it, but they don't need it yet because of their place where they can launch. And actually, Arianespace is quite successful, except for the last launch, but sort of, yeah. So yeah, today we'll have another 2 satellites. What do you think Rocket Lab will announce today? To be honest, I think they will either have a new launch vehicle or have a sort of Electron heavy. Reusability is, I don't know, because like the CEO specifically said they were not looking into reusability. So, but they could surprise us and have something reusable. But for the Electron, it doesn't really work out. The cost savings aren't that much. So, yeah. But back to this launch. We'll have 2 satellites. The upper passenger is the Intelsat 39, and the lower passenger is the EDRS-C, which is based on the so the lower passenger is the smaller satellite, which is the EDRS-C, which is actually based on ESA's small GEO satellite bus, which launched for the first time in 2017 with a Soyuz, I believe. So this is going to be the second launch of that spacecraft bus, which is exciting. And this one also hosts a communication package, which is installed on the satellite, which is called, what was it? It was something 3. Hold on. Hellas 3, yes, that is it. So Hellas 3 is actually the payload on the satellite itself, so it's not really the main payload. It is a hosted communication dish on the lower passenger. So yeah, the orbit is they're going to be injected in is the perigee, so the closest point to the Earth is going to be 250 kilometers. Then the highest point will be 35,786 kilometers at a 4.5 degrees inclination. So the rocket would be doing a lot of inclination changing. They will just adjust it by 2 degrees. Yeah, the launch at 6 degrees, I believe, or 5.5. Yeah, 5.5, 6 something. So that will do a bit of inclination changing, but that is 20 degrees less than you would launch from the Cape, so you will have a bit of saving if you own this satellite. Yeah, quickly go over the launch. So the countdown started at 11 minutes 30, or 11 hours 23 minutes. Electrical checks were figured out. If you want to have a full rundown of this stuff, go to my not now, but go to my Arianespace Ariane 5 Rocket Talk episode, which was it's 20 minutes, but it is pretty much an in-depth overview of the Ariane launch system. So yeah, the at T0, the ignition of the Falcon will start. Will have ignition at around about 4 seconds. Then it checks the run. If the engine operates correctly till 6.9 seconds, then it decides, yeah, we're good to launch. It ignites the boosters, and at 7 seconds we'll have liftoff. Then it will do a roll maneuver, a pitch maneuver, and at 2 minutes and 21 seconds the boosters burn out. They separate, and then at 3 minutes and 17 seconds we'll have fairing separation, and at 8 minutes and that is acquisition, 8 minutes and 23 seconds. At 8 minutes and 42 seconds, the EPC, so the main cryogenic core stage, will burn out. Well, actually, will shut down. It won't be fully depleted of fuel, but it will shut down. It will separate 6 seconds later, and then a few seconds after that, the upper stage will ignite. That will burn for 16 minutes until 25 minutes and 34 seconds. Then we'll have injection shutdown of the upper stage. It will maneuver. Then at 29 minutes and 9 seconds, it will separate Intelsat 29, so the upper passenger. Then it will do some maneuvering, and at 31 minutes and 6 seconds, it will separate the Silda, which is the structure that holds the two satellites together. And then at 33 minutes and 31 seconds, we'll have the final satellite separation. So short mission, relatively short mission. If you remember, the also the main thing is the Ariane 5 and later the Ariane 6. All rockets that launch into a geostationary transorbit from Kourou, because the Soyuz has done it a few times too, and Vega has done it once or twice, no, once, I believe, which was the ELISA. But anyway, they are so close to the equator that they don't need to go in a parking orbit. They can launch in one go. And the webcast is live. So I'm gonna switch. Let me see if I can figure it out. Switch. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I need to fix something else.
Here, I'm glad to be here. H0 is at 4:30 p.m. in Guyane, 3:30 in Washington, and 9:30 p.m. in Toulouse and Washington. These are the 608th and 609th satellites launched by Arianespace. And I'm speaking to you from the terrace at the Jupiter Center. The launch zone is straight ahead of me, 14 kilometers from where I am. This is our heaviest launcher. And from our position of 5.3 degrees north, we benefit from the so-called slingshot effect. So we're going to have a look at the launcher here. It measures 51.3 meters high, 775.3 tons of mass at liftoff, and the performance of this launch will be 10,671 kilos with a thrust at liftoff of 13,000 newtons.
My overlay is exactly on the
to
spot
look at our
that
2 passengers. And the
telemetry
upper
will be.
berth, the first that will be separated,
to
is
sort that
Intelsat
out.
39 with a mass of 6,600
Oh, well,
kilos.
let me
And in the
change
lower
this.
position, EDRS-C with a mass of 3,186 kilos. You can choose between the French version or English version for our listeners. And we're going to go inside to join my colleague Joshua Jampol. Joshua is going to be commenting in English. There are helicopters that are flying over my head here. He's 2 stories below me in the fishbowl. And he will speak to you in English. Josh, over to you.
I can hear you, Pierre, of course. Greetings to everybody. We are coming to you live, as always, from inside the Jupiter Mission Control Building here. It's the heart of the action, the center of the nerve center of the space base. Like an airport control tower, really. The room is in 2 parts. On this side, we're with our invited guests and our customers, seating about, 250. If you look behind us through the glass down into what they call the fishbowl, you can see the operational teams. Today, 50, 60 people, depending on the mission, working there. If you look farther back, all the way to the wall, you can see on the screens a lot of information coming in. I know it's hard to read all of it, but we'll get to it, try and explain some of it. The space base here covers a lot of ground, 700 square kilometers, about the size of Singapore, and all the outposts are sending their information here into the space base, so Jupiter well deserving of its name as the nerve center. Now, we are very happy to have with us Arianespace Vice President for Missions, Operations and Purchasing, Luce Fabriguet. I've got a date with her over here, so come on, you can meet her. Hello, Luce.
Hello, Josh.
How are you?
Fine, thanks.
All right, we won't keep you too long, just a couple of questions. Flight 249 tonight is the 7th launch of the year for Arianespace. What makes it special?
Our customers make it very special today. We are going to launch for Intelsat and Airbus, 2 long-standing customers for Arianespace. So let me first welcome them here at Jupiter Center and all our guests here at Jupiter and all of you watching the live stream.
Now, you mentioned long-standing, faithful customers. How far back does the partnership go?
For decades, with Intelsat, we have launched the first satellite for them in 1983. And today we are going to launch Intelsat 39.
One second down to the second
Intelsat
is
39 will replace
1938.
Intelsat 902 that was launched from here 18 years ago in August
That is
2001.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding EDRS, we are going to launch for our customer Airbus.
Well,
and
if nothing
with
comes
Airbus,
up
we are
in
launching more
the
than 130
T-7
satellites already.
countdown
And
thingy,
EDRS
but
is
we're
a
still
very
green.
important mission for
The-
us. It's a key mission
The
for
box
us to
will, on the other side of your
guarantee
screen,
the
with
European
the
access to
time
space.
counting down,
And today,
will
EDRS will
turn
contribute
to red
to
if something comes up.
the space data highway, and this is an important highway, new highway, to accelerate the transfer of data from a low Earth orbit satellite to the ground, to all of us.
Very good. Okay. Can you describe the mission a bit further? Give us maybe some facts and figures, some numbers people can remember.
So today we target to launch at 4:30 p.m. The launch vehicle will head towards the east. It will fly over the ocean Atlantic, then over Africa, and we will separate the first satellite, the large one, after 29 minutes of launch. And then we will separate the second one, EDRS-C, around 4 minutes later.
Hi!
The satellites are going into geostationary.
Just in time for the launch party.
Exactly is that.
It's very efficient orbit to reach the geostationary arc. We will separate both of them on this elliptic orbit. It's an elliptic orbit with a perigee at 250 kilometers, apogee at the altitude of the geostationary arc, close to 36,000 kilometers, and we will inject them with a huge speed, close to 9 kilometers per second.
Okay, very good. I know you want to go to work. You're going to
Hi,
work right
everybody.
now. Just stay
Hi.
with us 30 seconds because I need you. You're going right in there, which is what we call the Arianespace flight desk. We're going to see some shots of the colleagues that you're going to be sitting with, the Roland Lage and others. What's the role of the flight desk?
So here we are connected with all the teams here in Jupiter and also in the control centers. We fully rely on these teams, and we have the final say on the decision to launch.
Okay, final say. Luce Abrigade, you better get back to work. Thank you so much. We'll be back with Luce at the end of the broadcast. For now, thousands of people from across Europe are working on a Europe's space effort. For more on that, we go back outside to Pierre.
Okay, so I will try not to talk too much over them, but well, they're known
the
to
community
talk
of
a
Ariane
lot.
cities
So if
has
you have
15
any
cities:
questions,
Augsburg, Bordeaux,
just
Bremen, Cannes, Charleroi,
put them in the
Cologne,
chat room.
Évry,
I will
Courcouronnes,
try and
Longchamp,
answer them,
Saint-Cloud,
and
Lengros, Liège,
otherwise I
Mulhouse,
will try
Seville,
to
Toulouse, et Vernon.
answer them
And
later.
this community also includes 3 space agencies and 18 industrial sites. They play, their main role is to
This is
inform
annoying.
citizens of Europe about the European space.
So the woman that was just interviewed is the vice president of launch operations, if I'm correct. So she handles from contract to launch. She was also there last time when there was a launch failure. So the Vega failed, and she apologized in the name of Arianespace. So that's who she is. And now this is basically about this launch. Community cities.
Ce soir, nous sommes réunis pour le 3e lancement Ariane de cette année.
This has subtitles. Yeah, they're French, so yeah, her face is familiar. I saw it and I thought, oh yeah, she apologized to the Arabian satellite company, but had a launch. Well, yeah. The picture. No. Yeah. There is a great documentary about the Ariane rockets. Ariane 5 rocket is particular about the but it is in German, but I could understand it. But it's really cool. It's about how they make the engines and that kind of stuff. It's about the Vinci engine. So the Vinci engine will be the engine that will be on the second stage of the Ariane 6. So they represent a part of the Ariane. Now I'm getting things. Oh, launch in 10 minutes on my phone. Yeah, funny. So the Vinci engine will be a new engine. So on the second stage right now, they're still using an engine which is was used in the Ariane 2, 3, and 4. Now in the Ariane 5. The Vinci engine will be more powerful and will also be reignitable, because this one, the engine they are using currently, uses a igniter, which is basically a solid rocket booster. And yeah, well, you can't relight solid rocket boosters, so yeah. And also the Vinci will be reignitable, so not reusable, in space reusable. Hi Simon. So yeah, the Vinci will be able to, if there is need for a satellite that wants to go into their target orbit directly, so into GEO directly, the Vinci, so the Ariane 6 could do that. I don't know if they will. and adding to reignition, if the Vinci is reignitable, the rocket or the Ariane 6 second stage is able to perform a deorbit maneuver. So as soon as they have separated the satellite, they can use their few kilograms of fuel they have left to basically deorbit the stage, because I don't think the perigee of the orbit will change much. So every mission right now, it is 250 kilometers. So they in fact could, with a bit of orbital mechanics and smart calculations, could point the stage in the correct direction and just fire the engine for a few seconds, and then it will deorbit and it will burn up instead of being going around the Earth for 5-6 years. Because of the perigee that is so low, so the Silda and the second stage burn up quite quick, relatively quickly. But yeah, because their perigee is only 250 kilometers, so it will deorbit quicker, because at 200 kilometers there's quite a bit of air. You won't see satellites orbiting below 250 kilometers, because the drag would be so much that they would need a lot of fuel, or need to be really massive to keep in orbit for long periods of time. So yeah, let's head back to the podcast.
Now, you'll be hearing him a lot because he calls out all the milestones, both before and during the launch. And he's just taken us into the 7-minute mark, which is the automatic or the synchronized sequence, the final moments of the final countdown, the tip of the iceberg. If you want, the computers are taking over. Ariane is being weaned from the ground. Her onboard computers are giving her autonomy. Last thing we want to show you is the green status panels in the back. All is green. We're ready to go. A film now on the launch campaign. You'll see how Ariane 5 is put together. Take a look. We'll be back.
Oh, by the way, how does everybody think my new overlays looks? Like the window around me is new. These things are new, and this is
toutes les activités d'assemblage et de contrôle du lanceur, d'intégration de la charge utile et de la préparation des installations sol afin que tout soit prêt pour le lancement. La campagne lanceur a démarré le 12 juin au bâtiment d'intégration lanceur.
I think it's
Là,
funny
se sont
that you
déroulées
can
les
actually
opérations
tell they're
d'intégration du
reading
lanceur
from
et les contrôles
script.
pneumatiques et électriques de bon fonctionnement. Le lanceur a ensuite été transféré au bâtiment d'assemblage final le 5 juillet.
And
Bonjour,
funny
je
thing
suis
about
le chef de
launch
mission
tables,
et j'ai donc en
they
charge
actually have
la
two.
préparation avant la campagne et la coordination pendant la campagne de lancement de toutes les activités déroulées sur le centre spatial en interface avec les satellites.
So they
Pour ce
can
lancement,
have
nous accueillons sur le
two
lanceur le
simultaneous
satellite Intelsat
launch
39 en
campaigns.
position haute et le satellite EDRS-C en position basse. Intelsat 39 est arrivé en Guyane le 24 juin et a été transféré au bâtiment S5 avec tous ses équipements de support pour la campagne. Les opérations se sont nominalement déroulées. Le satellite a été contrôlé par les équipes Maxar, rempli en ergol et finalisé avant d'être intégré sur son adaptateur de vol. Le satellite a ensuite été transféré au bâtiment d'assemblage final, positionné sur la structure de lancement double, le Silda, et coiffé. EDRS-C, lui, est arrivé en Guyane le 20 juin avec ses équipements de support.
They
Après transfert sur le
installed a
centre
fairing is
spatial,
pretty fun.
les
They
opérations de contrôle
actually
du satellite ont été parfaitement déroulées au bâtiment
normally you would see
Le
fairing
transfert du
like in
satellite au
two
bâtiment
halves and then
d'emplissage s'est
encapsulated.
déroulé avec le
In
CCU3
the Ariane 5
permet de
case,
garantir pendant
it
le
is
transfert
delivered as one
toutes les
part.
conditions d'environnement du satellite.
Or it's actually not delivered as one part, but it's
Après les
put together as
remplissages
one
satellite,
part and
il a
then lowered
rejoint
over
le
the
bâtiment
satellite
d'assemblage final
and the Silda.
et a été hissé
Then
sur
the
le
lower
lanceur.
passengers installed on the rocket and the whole fairing with the Silda and the
Nous avons ensuite
upper
finalisé la
passengers
configuration
installed
du lanceur en
Which is
intégrant
pretty unique.
l'ensemble Intelsat 39, Silda et Coiffe sur Ariane. Les équipes d'Ariane Group, d'Arianespace et les industriels sol
représentant environ 300 personnes, ont ensuite travaillé intensément pour amener le lanceur et le sol en configuration de lancement. Vendredi dernier, la revue d'aptitude au lancement, après avoir vérifié l'état de préparation du lanceur et des installations sol, nous a autorisé à transférer le lanceur sur son pas de tir.
La campagne s'est déroulée dans un esprit toujours constructif et j'en remercie toutes les équipes.
Coming to you now from the broadcast booth for the 7th launch of the year for Arianespace, the 3rd Ariane 5 of 2019. Some 1,700 people are working around the space base in all for a launch of Ariane. Our cameras are here in Jupiter, but many others, you can imagine, are hard at work in many other sites across the range. We're going to show you one now, another one later on. This place is very busy, the launch zone. Here the launch management teams are working under the direction of the Launch Complex Operations Manager, Philip Harris. You saw him in the video on the launch campaign. The work done up there carried out by 2 teams, one responsible for executing flight chronology, the other for verification of the flight worthiness of the vehicle itself. The Launch Complex Operations Manager heads up the group responsible for execution of the chronology, and he coordinates with Mission Control, that's us here in Jupiter, for final authorization to launch. And when all the conditions are right, and not before, he's the one who then okays the automatic sequence at the 7-minute mark, which we saw. In all, about 100 people up there working on going over the final checks and verifications on all parts of Ariane's launch systems. Final countdown, we mentioned, began 5:07 this morning. The onboard computers were turned on at 9:12 and the flight program was loaded. Split screen image here showing the propellant feeder arms in the middle of the launch vehicle. We're going to pull back, you'll get a better picture in just a second. Liquid hydrogen going in on the left, liquid oxygen on the right. What are they doing? They're putting propellant into the upper stage tanks. And you'll see these arms pull back at 7 seconds before ignition. They're hidden just behind the upper stage there, along with, if you see ESA and Ariane on the back of the gantry, that's where they are. One of the last things you'll see before liftoff, we'd like to take just a minute to point it out. Under 2 minutes, the electrical power supply has been switched from the ground to onboard. That's one of the last things on the list. So little by little, Ariane 5 is becoming more autonomous and ready to go. And you can see here in Jupiter, the invited guests have begun to make their ways outside to watch the liftoff. Bright daylight today. We haven't seen a daylight launch in a while. There are 2 terraces on either side of the building.
I love Twilight Ariane 5 launches.
Ariane's trajectory takes her almost right over us here in Jupiter. Guests get a fine view. DDO is going to call out the 1-minute mark, and we will be into the final 60 seconds.
Top, H0 moins 1 minute.
1 minute.
Heard that,
yes.
But the DDO called out 1-minute mark. Give us a chance to say hello to all of our friends at Intelsat in the U.S., Maxar in the U.S., Airbus Defence and Space, OHB, locally to the French Guiana sites, to our industrial partners, ESA and CNES, and to all of you following on the internet. We hope you're enjoying it. We're going to cut away and let you listen to the DDO as he will call out the final seconds. Watch for the cryogenic arms to open. That sets the ball rolling. Enjoy the liftoff.
À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top.
Ignition of the Vulcan.
Allumage du Vulcain.
Yes, liftoff. Woo!
Allumage des EAP et décollage.
That's beautiful. All the birds flying away. This is amazing. The Ariane 5 is so cool. Can't wait till the Ariane 6. Kinda looks like Columbia. Yeah, you mean the space shuttle, but yeah, without the orbiter. Park that question. Remind me later. There's something real funny about that. Ooh, I hope we get to see booster separation. Ooh, you saw it go supersonic.
So at 16:30 local time in right on time. Ariane 5 began her mission lifting off from the ground
So
here in French Guiana with a lot of fire and with 2 new satellites rising into the bright blue sky.
Watch for booster separation at 2 minutes 21 seconds. Somewhere around that.
Exhaust flames of
Can be a
gold.
few
The 2
seconds
boosters
earlier
providing
or
90,
later.
that's 90% of our thrust right now, propelling the launcher along her trajectory at an ever higher velocity. 775 tons at liftoff, hard to believe. But to get that sort of mass off the ground, you need a lot of
Everything
push.
is still normal.
And
Yes.
push we have. Push you can see there. She's burning 5 tons of fuel every second. 2.5 tons are burning every second in each of the boosters. Plus, the core stage, the middle stage, burning another 300 kilos of fuel every second.
No, that's not true what he said.
Ariane
It's
5 is now
2.5
following
tons
the program in
booster.
the onboard computer, which gives all the orders, including stage separations. We're going to see those in just about 20 seconds. We're in the first of 4 flight phases. Of the fast
come
animation.
on. Seriously?
We'll be describing each in turn. So follow Ariane on her way
This
east
is disappointing.
across the Atlantic. Right now, the
I wanted
first
to
flight
see
phase,
booster
as you can see
separation.
on the
Oh yeah,
animation,
there we go.
a single first stage engine and the 2 boosters are burning. The boosters burn just over 2 minutes.
La trajectoire est nominale, tous les paramètres
Separation,
bord
yes.
sont normaux.
The DDO says everything
Séparation des EAP.
is perfect on
Oh,
board.
maybe
and
we
he's announced the
can
separation
see
of the
the
boosters,
separation
and you can
of
see
the
that.
fairing too.
That's
That
the
is
2 points of light
scheduled
on
at
the
3
top,
minutes
the flames
and
of
should
the
be
2
in
boosters flaming out. The
view.
single point of light below that is the lower stage, which continues to burn. Fine shots. We may even
And
have
below
shots of
you
the
can see
fairing
the
separation
telemetry, so
coming
it
up
is
less than a minute.
85
We'll make
kilometers at
another
that
2 points
right
of light
now.
in the bright blue
When it
sky.
reaches
The single first
110
stage
kilometers,
engine
it
is
separates the
burning now.
fairing.
Taken over from the boosters. The boosters will
La
fall.
propulsion est nominale, la trajectoire est nominale, tous les paramètres bord sont normaux.
DDO says everything is nominal on board. The boosters fall 500 kilometers from shore into a protected area. Look on your screen on the bottom, our altitude,
Yeah,
104
beautiful.
kilometers. On the right, our speed, 2.27
Ariane
kilometers per second. The
Ariane
speed
5
we need
launches like
to
she's
inject the
about
satellites
out of
roughly
hell.
8
Well,
to
what would
Séparation
Vega
de
be
poids.
down
per
because that
second
rises
as
twice
we
as
separated
fast.
the fairing. There are actually 2 halves. There's another half on the
They don't
starboard
show
side of the
the
vehicle, which is out
fairing
of
anymore.
camera range.
Dang.
We can separate the fairing now because we're out of the dense layers of the atmosphere. Over
looking
100
at
kilometers up, there's neither friction nor heating, which could disturb the passengers. We can also now discard any dead weight
part of this, yeah,
to maximize the launcher's performance, and the fairing weighs 2.5 tons.
Is this side? Okay, this is.
La
So
trajectoire est nominale, tous les paramètres
The
bord sont normaux.
right-hand side, you can see 2 lines, yellow
So all
line
is fine on board, coming up on 4
a
minutes.
green line. Green line is what's planned.
After a liftoff of the
Yellow
7th
line
Ariane
is what the Ariane 5 is
flight
actually
of
doing.
the
The
year. As we look at some of the Arianespace
yellow
people, we're going to look at
cross is where
Charlotte
the
Biscoe
Ariane
and
5
Didier
actually
Freve
is, and
from,
the
Knisa,
circles where
Kness
it's
and
expected to be. It's kind of
The,
lagging
European
behind,
space effort is
and
a
it makes
three-way
me
affair.
nervous.
Among Arianespace, the European Space Agency, ESA, and CNES, the French Space Agency. You find them all here.
But yeah,
Because
you're right, the Ariane 5 does
Arianespace in
actually
charge of
launch
operating the family of
like
launchers
bad out
and
of hell, but
marketing the launch
then again,
services
the
and the Ariane
Vega
program.
launches twice as
ESA
fast.
Tous les
funding new
paramètres bord
programs.
sont normaux.
CNES overseeing coordination of all space-based operations. The Guiana Space Center is the world's only dedicated commercial space base where Arianespace operates a launcher family. That's Ariane 5 soon to be
Il
Ariane
reste moins
6,
de 4 minutes de
Soyuz
propulsion
and
de
Vega,
l'ETC.
soon to be the updated Vega-C. A series of films coming up for you now on the customers. Up first, a look at Intelsat 39.
It makes me nervous that the cross is not centered.
Hello, I'm pleased to welcome this third Ariane 5 ECA launch of the year with on board 2 passengers. Intelsat 39 for the operator Intelsat and EDRS-C based on a public-private partnership between the European Space Agency and Airbus. Regarding in particular Intelsat 39 satellite, Arianespace is proud for having been selected by Intelsat to launch ICE-39, which will be the 61st Intelsat satellite launched by Arianespace. This high-power communications satellite, with a mass of 6.6 tons, was built by Maxar in Palo Alto and will replace Intelsat 902. It will be located exactly at 62 degrees east orbital position. I would like to thank all the teams that have been involved in this program First, of course, our customer Intelsat, which always relied on Arianespace, with a dedicated, very efficient teamwork all along the program. Constructive approaches and optimizations have always been shared.
Yeah, it is close to centered, but
this was really a key driver.
if you look at previous launches, they were actually right in the middle of it, and this is kind of lagging behind, and there's
we are in the second power
they have different refresh rates, so it looks like the yellow crosses sometimes gets extra out of the circle, and it makes me nervous looking back at the Vega launch.
Downrange tracking station. That's over
I don't want a second failure for Arianespace. That will basically kill them.
Brazilian Defense Department for the CNES in an agreement with ESA. It will see lower stage burnout and separation. All of Ariane's trajectory has been designed to be followed from.
So yeah.
Continuing our look at the passengers tonight, a first look at our second satellite, EDRS-C.
I will call them out, so you will probably do too, but yeah.
Welcome all to the European Spaceport for VA249 launch. As the Arianespace Program Director for EDRS-C,
this
I am in charge of the customer interface and launch services mission preparation. And I have here the pleasure to present the satellite which will be launched in lower position of this flight. In July 2015, Airbus Defence and Space selected the European launcher for the launch of EDRS satellites. EDRS-C will be the second space segment of the European data relay system. It will enable ultra-fast transfer of data from low Earth orbit satellites down to Earth. EDRS-C also hosts HILAS-3, a communications payload for Aventi with flexible capacity over Africa and the Middle East. EDRS-C is the second satellite based on OHB Small Geo platform, with the first one launched in 2017 by Arianespace. Over those 4 years, Arianespace and Airbus have built strong links of cooperation and coordination in the frame of the execution of the launch services contract. On behalf of Arianespace, I would like to sincerely thank our customer for their trust.
If it's truly something that the Ariane 5 is lagging speed, we'll know at burnout of the second stage. The second stage will burn a few more seconds than planned. If it does, we'll know that the boosters underperformed.
2016. EDRS-C, tonight's passenger, also hosting Aventi's HILAS-3 payload. More on that in a film later on. And there's a third EDRS satellite, EDRS-D. It's in the works for the Asia Pacific.
But yeah, the altitude still
we're coming
matches,
up on cutoff of the lower stage. You see on the animation the nozzle shutting down, and there's the separation of the stage, and you'll see the nozzle on the upper stage light up there. There we are. These three commands given by the onboard computer in about 13 seconds. The lower stage will fall into the Atlantic off the Gulf of Guinea. You remember our mass at liftoff, 775 tons. Well, we're down now after separation of the first stage and all the fuel gone. Total mass 30 tons.
So you see we're descending
into the third
right
and
now.
Final powered flight phase. The single upper stage engine that'll burn until plus 32 seconds.
The weird thing is that the Ariane 5, actually the second stage, has so
the satellites to their
weak thrust that they actually need the bit of downward acceleration from the Earth pulling it to get into its orbit.
That comes during Ariane 5's ballistics phase, after the power phase, which comes later in the flight, and we'll have more on that coming up.
And you'll see that the acceleration is real slow.
On our first passenger, Intelsat 39,
you'll
be hearing from their CEO, Stefan Spengler.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us to watch the launch of Intelsat 39. Launching a new satellite is always an exciting time. It brings the promise of new opportunities to connect individuals, businesses, and communities using the latest advancements in satellite technology. It also reinforces the teamwork and technical innovation evident in our partnerships across the industry. Intelsat 39 will replace Intelsat 902 at 62 degrees east. This new satellite exemplifies the diversity of services that Intelsat's space-based platform and Intelsat 1 terrestrial network provides our customers around the world. Intelsat 39 is designed with both wide-beam and high-powered steerable spot beams to meet the needs of broadband networking video, and government customers across Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. The steerable spot beams provide flexibility within the payload and enable our customers to efficiently respond as their requirements shift over time. The satellite will feature C and KU band capabilities to provide additional scale to our Intelsat Flex managed services. It will enhance mobile connectivity for aeronautical, maritime, enterprise, and government customers operating across these geographies.
No, I didn't need to sneeze.
Intelsat 39 is a powerful platform that will enable our customers to expand their high-speed networks at a lower cost of ownership.
I'm a bit
It will
dark.
provide governments and mobile operators with the infrastructure they need to reach remote areas across the region, supporting our mission to narrow the digital divide. The government of Myanmar will use Intelsat 39 to enhance its network and the networks of other mobile operators and media companies. Affordable 3G, 4G broadband, and internet connectivity will extend throughout the country. None of these benefits will be possible without dedicated partners who share our commitment to building a more connected world. On behalf of Intelsat's employees, I would like to thank our manufacturer Maxar and our launcher Arianespace for their commitment to deliver a successful program for Intelsat. I'd also like to recognize the Intelsat team around the world for their work on Intelsat 39. Thanks to each of you for your technical expertise, dedication, and commitment to excellence. Your efforts are greatly appreciated. Finally, let me express my sincere appreciation to our customers for their continued trust in Intelsat. We value our partnership and look forward to advancing your strategic initiatives and continued growth. Now I'd like to wish us all a successful mission. Go Intelsat 39.
Kind of ironic. As soon as he
At the
says,
top of the broadcast, Luce Fabricate mentioning that Intelsat was an old friend. Our first mission with Intelsat back in 1983, that was on Flight 7, one of the promotional flights for the Ariane 1, and it weighed 1.8 tons. So you compare that to 6.6 tons today.
Yeah, it is. It's
Arianespace
between
launched 60 satellites for Intelsat.
Yeah, Natal and Ascension Island. Their coverage doesn't overlap because
was last September.
From Galileo and Natal, the coverage overlaps, and the same with Ascension Island, Libreville, and Malindi, is it? But they're so close that actually it doesn't overlap, so they have a short cutout phase.
Maxar.
And all the telemetry actually gets recorded onto the rocket and transmitted later.
La propulsion est nominale. Tous les paramètres bord sont normaux.
Intelsat 39, the satellite that we're launching today, is going to replace satellite Intelsat 902 that was built by Maxar and was launched here in French Guiana in 2001. And that satellite was contracted for a lifetime of 13 years, so we're coming up on 18 years, so it's giving us close to 50% more life than we contracted for, so we're happy with that. I've been involved with about 15 satellites. I've really got to know the teams here at Maxar and appreciate their professionalism and their technical know-how. I think Maxar is a world-class company. When it comes to building communication satellites, they are one of the best.
While you were watching that film, we were picked up by our next downrange tracking station. That's Ascension Island, tiny island in the South Atlantic, 10 square kilometers. NASA had a station there till 1989 when they closed it. ESA, the European Space Agency, decided to build its own. This is the 65th Maxar satellite to be launched by Arianespace and the 57th based on their 1300 platform. Our last Ariane launch, June 20th, orbited a Maxar satellite. That was Intelsat 7C. And there are currently 4 more Maxar satellites in Arianespace's backlog for upcoming missions. Roughly 10 minutes to go in the upper stage burn. You may have heard that Europe is developing the successor to Ariane 5, Ariane 6.
Yeah.
More market-driven vehicle to meet customer needs and market changes, including electrical propulsion. Ariane 6 will, they tell us, have shorter and more streamlined launch campaigns. There are 8 Ariane 6s already in the Arianespace backlog, first launch 2021. Another look at EDRS-C coming up for you now.
So,
At Europe's spaceport in Kourou, the new EDRS-C satellite is undergoing final preparations before its launch. An Ariane 5 will lift the satellite into geostationary orbit, where it will join EDRS-A, which was launched in 2016 as a hosted payload on Intelsat 9B as part of the European Data Relay System.
Yeah.
The European Data Relay System is a collaboration between ESA and Airbus Defence and Space, aiming to improve and accelerate data transmission from low Earth orbiting satellites to the ground. From their geostationary orbit, EDRS satellites can both see the low orbiting imaging satellite as well as the ground stations. Data from the imaging satellite is sent via a laser link to EDRS, which then transmits data via radio frequency to the ground stations. This process allows for longer and faster data transfers, creating the Space Data Highway.
EDRS is called a space data highway because it's likened to an optical fiber in the sky. It's a highway through which data travels at enormous speeds. In the case of EDRS, at up to 1.8 gigabits per second. And if you compare this to a conventional internet connection at home, you can say that it's about 100 times the speed that you get with your internet connection when you surf at home. So that's a real highway for data in space.
The main features of EDRS are a high transfer rate achieved by the use of laser technology and a near-permanent availability,
data going
a result
out
of the satellite's bird's-eye view from geostationary orbit. This results in a quasi-real-time availability of the data on the ground, a step forward from conventional systems that only allowed data transfers for 10 out of every 90 minutes. EDRS is the first commercial system in the world to use optical communication between satellites. While the system has been jointly developed by ESA and Airbus, it is the latter who will operate the service.
The launch of today's EDRS-C satellite is a fantastic opportunity for enhancing our Space Data Highway system. With Space Data Highway, Airbus is the first connectivity operator of laser communication services. Already today, Space Data Highway links all the 4 Copernicus satellites near real-time to the Earth, and it will allow, with the second satellite, to have near real-time data of 2 Earth observation satellites at the same time. A fantastic innovation. Also, it will be, of course, a backup of the first satellite in case we have a problem.
EDRS-C is the first dedicated EDRS satellite. It will provide additional capacity to the European Data Relay System, but also improve its robustness and further increase coverage. Once both nodes are fully operational, EDRS will be able to relay at least 50 terabytes of data every day. Today, ESA and Airbus are already working on a third node, EDRS-D, which will be positioned over the Asia-Pacific region and mark another step towards worldwide use of this breakthrough technology.
The ultimate goal will, of course, be to achieve global coverage so that we can transmit imagery that is taken anywhere in the world to Europe within quasi-real time, meaning almost immediately.
And there is a great future in using EDRS with our new Pléiades Neo satellites.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the circle now.
Soon.
As I said, the second stage will correct
we will be
for
providing
this.
you with more high-resolution, near real-time data for Earth observation applications, and I'm very proud of that.
With higher resolutions and better imaging techniques, the amount of data provided by low Earth orbiting satellites will only increase further in years to come. Therefore, both ESA and Airbus are convinced that optical communication in space is a key technology, allowing us to fully exploit these vast amounts of data. EDRS is the beginning of a new era in space-based telecommunications, and the launch of EDRS-C is another step towards the completion of the Space Data Highway.
So EDRS adding lasers to space.
Space lasers!
During the film, we were picked up by our next downrange station in Libreville, Gabon, on the west coast of Africa. It has been run by CNES for over 30 years.
They can play Star Wars in space now.
Space Agency and the Gabonese government. Tonight, a standard double launch to communication satellites, but throughout the long history of the Ariane family and Soyuz and Vega, Arianespace has launched for all types of missions and all types of orbits. On EDRS, a payload called Hylas-3, a short look now at its builder, Avanti.
So as you can see, we're coming up on 9 kilometers per second, which is quick.
DDO continues to say that all is perfect on board, everything happening just the way it is.
Would be fun. Space disco.
Some numbers, right. Some numbers. This is the 72nd launch of this version of the Ariane 5. The 312th mission performed by the Ariane family of launchers, and the 105th on Ariane 5. Intelsat 39 and EDRS-C are the 215th and 16th satellites to be launched by an Ariane 5, both with a lifetime of 15 years. Up next, a look at EDRS-C's prime contractor, OHB.
25 minutes and 32 seconds in shutdown. I don't know. Okay, this is annoying. This is one of those Apple emojis you sent. I'm only getting like this black square. I can't see it, so. Or YouTube doesn't support it, which is annoying. Yeah, you see we're going up. We're quite a steep curve now. We're passing beyond the orbit of the ISS now. Not that high though. That's the party emoji. Oh yeah. Well, I think it's just a Windows thing that it doesn't show up. I'm gonna look on my phone, maybe it shows up. But yeah, space parties, space disco. With space lasers! Pew 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 pew! So, just over a minute in propulsion left.
EDRS will be the 26th satellite launched by...
Yeah, the second stage is still burning. It burns for 26 minutes. It has an amazing fuel efficiency.
In the Galileo fleet. The H2Sat, the 100 Hz communication satellite for Germany, and 2 MTG, Meteosat third generation satellites for the EUMETSAT weather group. During that film, we were picked up by our last downrange tracking station in Malindi, Kenya. It will see upper stage.
Yeah, I can see it on my phone. It's just a Windows
separation. About 15 seconds left to go until the extinction of the upper stage engine. I heard the DDO call out that milestone.
Yeah, we're good.
We'll be out of the powered flight phases and into what they call the ballistics phase, or the coasting phase, or the free flight phase. You see the nozzle shutting down there?
Yeah, but this is not telemetry
driven. Stage engine occurring at about 670 kilometers altitude. Our mass now down to 15.5 tons from 775.
Yep, we're slowing down. The
Ariane has
telemetry
reached
slows as
her
it
maximum
shows slowing
speed,
down.
which you can see on the lower right.
That's one more
9.3
annoying thing
kilometers
about
per second.
the like
And you'll see
images.
her begin to slow down
They're not
when she
real-time
separates
driven,
Intelsat 39 in about 3 minutes.
The
Her
telemetry,
speed
of
will
course,
be
is, but
8.8 kilometers per second.
the
When
images
she
aren't.
releases the Silda, that's the carrying structure for the second passenger, at plus 31 minutes, she'll be flying at 8.59 kilometers per second. And when she separates EDRS-C at plus 33.31, plus 33.30, I think it should be, her speed will be down to 8.2 kilometers per second. With the power shut down, we're going to go to our next film and look at Intelsat's first maneuvers after separation. We'll be back with more.
Good evening. I'm Mohinder Guru, Senior Program Manager at Intelsat, and I'm pleased to be back in Kourou for my second launch campaign as the Spacecraft Mission Director within the space of 10 months, this time on Intelsat 39. After separation from the Ariane 5, our mission team at the Long Beach Control Center will take charge of the satellite and will start commanding. First deploying the solar arrays, followed by 4 apogee motor burns and deploying all appendages. And 7 days of electric orbit raising using xenon thrusters to position the satellite to its initial IoT longitude of 55.3 degrees east. After completion all bus testing and phase 1 of payload testing, Intelsat 39 will be maneuvered to its final operational longitude of 62 degrees east, where phase 2 of the payload testing will be performed with the goal of entering Intelsat 39 into service by October 2019. I would like to sincerely thank everyone at Arianespace, CSG, and Maxar Space Solutions involved in this endeavor. So go Intelsat 39.
We're a minute away from separation of Intelsat 39. There's a team there as we near confirmation of the DDO on separation of our upper passenger, due in about a minute. Intelsat, of course, going back a long way in the history of spaceflight.
Right now they're doing the maneuver.
Early bird, if you recall, 1965, which was Intelsat 1.
But
the world's first
they shouldn't hire me because when I did this in Kerbal Space Program,
it's always a moment of
first of all, the Sildas kept on bugging on the rocket. They kept like exploding the second stage.
But it does call for tremendous focus.
And then when I tried to spin up maneuver for the second stage after the separation of the lower satellite, I almost bumped and damaged the lower passenger.
On the computer screens, all ear on the phones, waiting confirmation of our satellite.
I shouldn't really be hired by Arianespace to write the code.
10 seconds, that's Intelsat 39. On the right
Imagine
screen, below that is the black bell-shaped structure is the Silda.
People would actually do this with a controller. Launch rockets
scheduled
with a
separation.
controller.
We're waiting for the DDO's confirmation.
Séparation du satellite Intelsat 39.
And there we are, the first good news.
Not yet.
From Intelsat.
Maybe I should be the guy that actually
pleased.
talks. Here.
You see they're holding, politely holding their applause because the mission, of course, is not over yet. We still have to separate our final passenger, EDRS-C.
But then do it interactive.
Separated by the
answer people's questions.
We promised you to show another place where people are hard at work tonight. Now we're going to go up there now. When choosing a space base, the Europeans wanted nearby hills where they could install radar and telemetry. And this is the CVI, called the Quick Look Telemetry Display
Not really
Control
true,
Center.
Yeah.
It's on a hill just behind us here in Jupiter. These teams have all the means for receiving and processing, storing and analyzing all the data coming in from the ground stations along Ariane's flight path. The downrange tracking stations follow the launcher.
Kourou was mainly chosen because the French were
all the key flight data coming in by radar and telemetry to this post here.
Well, let's
and they
make this our
report the flight
space
status.
base.
They report all that data on the launcher back to the teams here in Jupiter. And the announcements you hear made by the DDO come from the CVI. The information going to them first and then relaying it here. also to the flight desk, of course, and to Launch Complex Operations Manager. All part of the great information flow from points across the space base back to Jupiter.
Pew.
Coming up on Silda separation. You'll see that. The Silda will be pushed away from the mothership, just like the satellites were. And there you are. There's the scheduled separation of the Silda.
Séparation du système de lancement double Ariane, le SILDA.
And the DDO has confirmed
Silda separation. So 2 more minutes until
Intelsat 39 signal will be acquired. The first signal will be acquired by its station in Australia. Going to another film?
Yeah,
on the
superhighway. But it's not really the equator that makes sense.
Let me now introduce to you the head of
It is
EDRS
close to the
infrastructure at
ocean,
Airbus,
and
Mr.
then,
Matthias Wiegand. Good afternoon, Matthias. Matthias, could you explain what is the main mission of EDRS?
Our launching customer is the European
Just
Commission's
the
Copernicus
payload
Earth Observation
boost
Program.
from,
The data relay service to
being
the
on the
Sentinel-1
equator
and
doesn't really
Sentinel-2
matter.
satellites allow the delivery of large volumes of time-critical data to Earth monitoring centers within Europe in near real time. Before EDRS, a process that would typically take several hours. EDRS will be the second communication node, followed by a third satellite over the Asia-Pacific region by around 2024. Equipped with 3 laser terminals, EDRS-D will again significantly increase the communication capacity and its coverage.
Thank you, Matthias. Let me now introduce to you the EDRS project manager at ESA, Mr. Michael Whiting. Michael, since when has the EDRS service been available and how will EDRS-C contribute?
The commercial EDRS service has been available since November 2016 via EDRS-C's
well, it
sister
doesn't
payload
matter
EDRS-A.
for the Ariane 5, and
By the end of
does it matter for the
2019,
Ariane 6.
the system will also
It's
provide a
just
fully
that
European
the
broadband
insertion orbit
communication
has
service
a
to
lower
the Columbus
inclination,
module of
but
the International Space
the
Station.
speed from the
2021,
Earth spin
the Pléiades Neo Earth
is
observation satellites
not really
will begin to use
beneficial.
the space data
It's only a
highway.
few kilograms, it doesn't really matter. That's not
Coming
why
up
it
in
was
less than
chosen.
30
It was
seconds
chosen because it was
on
close to the
separation
ocean,
of our
and
final passenger EDRS.
there are no
C.
hurricanes, no earthquakes, and of
teams.
course you can launch
Again,
eastwards
with a
and
high
upward and
concentration
northwards.
down.
As in any Europe, you can't
They've gone
launch
through all these
eastward.
procedures before, just like the Intelsat people did. But again, the waiting, same suspense. This time for the second passenger tonight. Remember, we're representing years of work for many of these people.
Séparation du satellite EDRS-C.
Yes, separation.
Well, the final good news, as you can hear. The applause from the people here in Jupiter. Everybody happy. Ariane 5 delivered her second passenger EDRS-C out over the Indian Ocean. Handshake, smiles, cigars and champagne forthcoming.
Well,
so from those very concentrated minutes, just moments ago,
okay.
You can see the change here.
I'm not going to watch the speeches. If you want to watch the speeches, I think they're boring. Oh, hello. This is my... I need to switch. Come on. Yeah, here we are again. Mission accomplished, yes. Well, actually, the Ariane... Scott Manley made a video on this. The spin of the rotation of the Earth, the speed you get from that is... not really beneficial. The most beneficial thing was the orbit inclination. That is what mattered most for launching from French Guiana, because the optimal place would be right there or exactly at the equator in Brazil. 2 more today, right? Yeah, 2 more in 24. Well, okay, 1 more today, but then another one tomorrow morning in 12 hours, I believe. Yeah, I would count that today. Yeah, 12 hours. Yeah, the Atlas 5 is launching in 12 hours. Well, a bit more, 13. Yeah, okay, it's not today for me, it's tomorrow morning. But yeah, so I can I stream that? I might host the Atlas 5 launch. I'm not going to do the SpaceX launch. There are so many people hosting the SpaceX launch. It doesn't really go well on my channel anyway. The Ariane 5 launches do pretty good. The Vega launches do pretty good. The Atlas 5 in the past did quite good. So, yeah. There's so many people watching it, hosting it, and it doesn't really matter. These launches, there are only a few people that do the Arianespace launches and ULA launches, host them. Well, Tim, I don't know if Tim is gonna host the ULA launch, but also Everyday Astronaut doesn't do this launch, so yeah. Every time he hosts a launch, it just draws viewers away from you. Not that a lot of people watch this, but the viewer amount is growing, and I can see every time I finish a stream how many views it has, and it has been slowly creeping up. So yeah. But yeah, a successful stream. Oh yeah, there was, before I forget, Rocket Man, you asked, or you said, I like the Ariane 5, kind of looks like Columbia without orbiter. With Columbia, I assume you mean the space shuttle. Well, actually, fun thing, the Ariane 5 was built, and it has, when it was designed, it had the space shuttle sort of as a model, like 2 solid rocket boosters, cryogenic core stage, hosted up there, and because you need raw power to get out of the atmosphere, and then once you're out of the atmosphere, you want efficiency, and have a bit of speed. You want efficiency, so yeah, because the boosters have half the efficiency of the core stage. Roughly, it's not really that. It's more difficult than that, but yeah. And then they actually modeled it after the space shuttle, because it was also supposed to fly the Hermes spaceplane. Hermes spaceplane got cancelled, and again, it was supposed to fly humans. So yeah, it was human rated, or actually the first version was human rated. So they needed a bit of a gradual launch. So yeah, that's why they did it. They modeled it after the space shuttle, which was pretty awesome. Anyway, yeah, I will set up everything for tomorrow launch. Let's see what it is at my time. Let me check. It is... No, I don't want... Come on. It is at 11:44 a.m. Don't know. Should I or shouldn't I? I need to leave at... Well, if there's a delay, I can't, because I need to leave at 1 a.m. Yeah, well, let's just go for it. I'll see you tomorrow morning. I'll host the launch again. Yeah, I should. I will. I'm gonna try. Yeah. Tomorrow morning, Atlas 5. Tonight. Oh yeah, don't forget the Rocket Lab announcement, which they're gonna make. Watch that. And yeah, see you tomorrow morning. This was me. I need to switch. Bye. See you next time.